My name is Landon West, and I was wrong.
My name is Chuck Livingston, and I was also wrong.
My name is Tyler Bennett, and I was also wrong.
Welcome to episode 6 of the Patcast. And it's crow's good.
How bad?
I was wrong about crow.
So some of the
Maybe we should predict wrong.
I'm wrong
more
double time. Yeah, really.
All right, and welcome back to episode 6 of the Patcast. I am Landon West.
Still Chuck Livingston. Still full of crow.
Tyler
Lots of other
Bennett.
things.
He's also blocked.
Still blocked. Definitely blocked for sure.
We'll start the show with that this week.
That'll be week 4. We'll revisit it.
Who are you?
I'm Tyler Bennett, I guess.
Oh, cool.
I lied. I'm Chucky Live. I got out.
Oh, Lord.
Found y'all.
So, guys, we have a lot to talk about here in our football segment. We're going to start this week with them because, holy night, that is just a complete turnaround of everything that we expected. I mean, it's not every day we eat crow, literally.
No, for me, it's kind of an everyday thing. Yeah, at least 6 out of 7.
When you check your email, right?
I don't really like to admit that I'm wrong too much. It depends on who the people are. I just meant to the chicken in general. I mean.
Oh. Well, the events that happened out here were absolutely incredible, and they started early. So what we're going to do is, because it was such a spectacular performance and a wild one and so many scores and all of this, we're going to divide this segment into 2 distinct sections. One, we're just going to briefly go over the drives, and then we're going to break it down by player, because those numbers this week are spectacular. And we think that they deserve all that kind of credit. So, Chuck, how did the drive chart look for the Patriots against the Indians of Jackson, Missouri?
Marion scored on their 4th play from scrimmage. Tom Young broke 56 yards on a 4th and 2. It looked like he was stuffed at the line and busted out and took it the distance. Marion got back after it again. They had a long drive here where he bowled over from 1 yard out, and they're up 14-0 with 5:45 left. Now, this is where I thought that Tom Young outruns a lot of people. I'm talking, regardless of the defensive back or the linebacker or whatever. Tom makes a living. His motto is slow feet don't eat. If you've never heard about that, that's what he says. So again, you can't really say, oh gosh, Tom Young. I mean, Tom does well anyway. The other night he did really well. I think on the fast track he had some holes. Monk.
On 4th and 2, he said he might have been stuffed at the line. Took a look at it from the end zone camera.
Stuffed at the line.
Great job by Javier Soto. That was a fantastic hole. He was untouched, man.
Really?
Untouched. Really good job inserting Soto there as the center. Just 5-star performance from him.
Yeah, and that was a position on the line they were trying to get production out of course, with that being thrown into flux. So Tom basically gets it going early on, a couple runs, just really hard-nosed runs, especially the one on the goal line. Then Colin Chambers takes over. He scores the last touchdown of the first quarter with a 60-yard catch and run. It really wasn't more than a 5 or 6 yard pass that he caught. He put a guy in a phone booth, took off, and again outran him. Now I think this is going to be a theme throughout this segment. I thought the difference between team speed between Marion and Jackson, Missouri, as I was tipped off, all week was I thought that was the biggest thing. I mean, they were dedicated to their offense. They were very fundamental. They did a good job pass and run blocking, I thought. Mm-hmm. But they just didn't have the big plays that Marion was able to get to.
Now, Monk tipped us off last week that, hey, they may not have the speed in their linebackers, but when their linebackers go for the tackle, they complete the tackle. But you can throw speed back at that, because we saw Colin down here juking like he was on Dancing with the Stars and wasn't touched just by simply sidestepping them or juking them. So, even if it's in close proximity and right on a catch and you don't have your speed built up, you can still outwit these guys, as he proved, and just take off with it.
Yeah, their strong linebacker, number 14. I can't think of his name.
Payne Gilliams.
He was making every play.
made about
That's
5
how I
tackles
remember
in a
his
row.
name.
Yeah, right.
That's how I remember it.
He was making every play there for Jackson. But again, just like you said, the best way to overcome that is with some speed of your own. Colin and Tom hit him up with a couple sham sandwiches and just let them feast on that. It was a great night as far as the speed was.
Yeah, so Patriots said welcome to the track meet and just couldn't quite keep up, especially in the first half. The score of that one was 35-21 at half. And, that's one of those times where you're wondering, because it happened last week against Wynn, do the Indians make an adjustment and the Patriots don't keep up with it again? Not the case at all. Patriots came out and but were able to keep the momentum going even more.
Well, actually, it was 35-21 at the half, and Jackson scores the first touchdown of the second half to cut it at 35-28. And I thought
That was a
this
quick drive.
It was very quick, and it's interesting you say that because I earmarked it as one of the key drives, probably the key drive of the game. I had to ask Coach Davis and Coach Brent Eckley about it after the game. I said, of course, the question was basically the same to each guy. It's 35-28. They've scored the last two. What are you thinking? And Coach Davis was like, I thought that was huge because I'm looking around looking for our senior leadership. What are we going to get done? Who's going to step up? And, Eckley said that, they had a good drive. They executed it. And when Marion responded, it was like kind of like a swift gut punch. Marion scored in 3 plays. Peyton Walker to Colin Chambers, 51 yards out. Now, Jackson thinks they're back in the game. They're feeling good. It's 35-28. They've taken Marion's best shot, they think. And now here's, again, Colin catching a ball. Good ball from Harold Walker. He catches it and he scores. And now it's all of a sudden it's 42-28 again. Meanwhile, Jackson, it's taken them 8 or 9 plays to score. Marion does it in 3. That's got to be frustrating. And, again, I thought that was the key drive. Davis here marked it as the key drive. And Eckley didn't quite say that, but he said that he thought it was a crucial moment in the game where if they could have gotten a stop, gotten the onside kick, well, now, hey, we're back in it. And they were in it anyway, but...
Yeah. So the tail after that of this game is basically all Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Several more touchdowns, even an onside kick recovery that was Bradford Doherty's work again, believed to have been a pooch kick. The refs fell for it just like I did last week.
Just like in Win Week 1.
Right.
Another...
The lineman does his job. He calls for fair catch. But the fact is, an onside in high school is not fair catch eligible. It is in college, but it is not in high school. And interestingly enough, the referee farthest from the kickoff was the one who came in and said, I'm not letting you call that penalty. It hit the ground. So it was a very interesting game. And now the tail of the fourth quarter is hearing some names that we haven't heard yet. Being only week 2, but we saw them in the benefit game. Cody McCullough came out quite a bit at quarterback. There were some other people who
Alex Bay.
Yeah, just not quite the names that we're going to hear this year a ton, except maybe on Monday nights. But next year, these are the glimpses of the future that we have for the Patriots, and it looks pretty good. So I'm very impressed by that. Transitioning to who we talked to this week about this game. In the fourth quarter, something happened that hasn't happened at Marion in a very, very long time. The kicking game went on display. Bradford Doherty was absolutely on fire. And so I sat down with him and we talked about his 2 field goals and what that meant for him and what it means for the future of his career. I'm joined now by, I call him Gold Toe, as should you after last Friday night, Bradford Doherty, Marion's own place kicker now and punter, and can throw occasionally, and I know he can run from cross country, so the scouting report's wide open for this kid. Before we get into what's going on with this season, what brought this about? Why you? Why now?
Well, I've been thinking about joining the football team over the last year, but I just stuck with soccer. And this upcoming year, God called me to be the kicker, and so I went after his path, and it's done really well so far.
So you are definitely trusting that this is something that maybe was designed for you to do as a part of this team?
Without a doubt.
Okay, so what kind of influence do you think that you have have been as a senior, but being a first-year player at the same time? What kind of unique position does that put you in?
Well, at first I was a little nervous that, I wouldn't do as good, but now I think, like, when I kick off the team, like, it pumps the team up and it just gets them going and ready to crush the team we're playing. So I think I have a pretty good influence in my team.
What's driving that as well? Do you love this game that much, even though it's your first year to play it so many years, or is it a part of being that team, or what's going on in your mind when you're that excited?
Well, I love football, but, I just got to give it all to God. God has put me in this position, so it's just like playing for God and God's glory. It's just wonderful. It's just amazing.
Well, certainly the results have proven that so far. 10 extra points, 3 field goals. With that, you have already surpassed last year's field goal total of 2. And this week, we are kind of recanting the 1-year anniversary of one of the largest field goals last year that defeated the Chickasaws of Blytheville. Has the memory of that, come to pass in your mind at all with that game coming up this week, or what's going through your mind knowing that this is a week most people remember in Marion's history?
It hasn't really crossed my mind. Yes, I do remember the game-winning field goal that was kicked, but it doesn't faze me at all knowing that I'm going to Blytheville and knowing that I will be kicking against them, because it doesn't bother me one bit. I'm ready to kick however many field goals it takes to beat them.
Last Friday night against Jackson, an immense amount of success. You had, by all accounts that we can account for, the longest field goal in Marion's history. When you're up there with the name Jerry Patton, you've done something. How much of this have you had to adapt from soccer?
Well, when I first decided to become a kicker, I went out there and kicked balls, and I learned that it's sort of similar to kicking a soccer ball, except your foot placement. And it's not as different when you're kicking a field goal as it is punt. When you kick a punt, you have to turn the ball a certain way to get a good spiral, and kickoff, it's just the amount of steps you take back and following through.
Obviously, the further we go into this season, the more and more these kicks are going to mean. Do you think you're prepared for that?
I am very prepared for that.
What has prepared you for that?
God. God is the only thing that's prepared me for this.
And what tools has God given you being on this team to get you focused correctly?
My leg. And just spending my whole summer practicing hard to produce in the games that I have done so far. That's what.
There's a lot of things that the football team goes through. Band of brothers, they go through the father-son retreat as seniors. How much fun and good has that been for you, and have you been able to incorporate that into being part of the team?
All those have been really great. It's helped me bond with the teammates and become a part of their family. With the teammates, they're all really special and they mean a lot to me.
Well, good. Final thing, if we come down to some kind of repeat of history, it's 28-25 against West Memphis, do we call on you or do we go for it on fourth?
I believe the coach will call on me because he trusts me and knows that I will put it through the uprights.
Well, good. My thanks to Bradford Doherty for joining us in the River Trace subdivision, and beautiful day we got out here. So yeah. Looks like some other people are here to enjoy the God's beautiful day. So we're gonna have some fun with that. I appreciate it, Bradford. So does Patriot Nation.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard enough to drive 50 yards for a touchdown, let alone 85 yards for a touchdown. I see Doherty is already that sort of weapon right there. Of course, the kicking game you can't say enough about. Both of those kicks were boomers the other night, and the 45-yarder was, it was still going up when it hit the crossbar. I'm talking this thing was, because I had moved to behind the goalpost and watched it, and it was dead on. TCU's probably going to try to recruit the guy now after last night's Arkansas game. But the point is that that's a weapon now in a close game, which we saw last year. And again, shades of Blytheville. In a contest now where you're tied or you're down 3 or you're down 2 or whatever it is, you do feel good. Like, I thought that Coach Dave was kind of overhyping a little bit in the preseason when we spoke about him. It's legitimate. And as time goes on and the weather gets colder, his distance, maybe it'll shorten up. I don't know. But 45 yards on a nice fall night like we had the other night, That's incredible. That's out of control.
Yeah, he and talking about that, we made mention, as you heard, if we have a repeat of history, at 28-25, Marion 4th down and 3, do you go for the field goal now, or do you go for the touchdown following hopefully a first down conversion? Because in 2006, the very first West Memphis game, this was what we faced.
Put a crying Jordan on my face, please.
So, it's one of those things where you have another option, and options are good. But how much of a change is this going to be for the entire offensive scheme, do you think, Monk?
Obviously, it's just going to depend on the situation. Like if it's late in the fourth quarter and you've got to have a touchdown, then obviously you're going to go for it on fourth. But any other time, you've got free points right there now. You've got guaranteed, we say guaranteed, 3 points that you're going to add up on the board, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm not sure the name of the field goal kicker last year, but we had to worry about that a little bit.
You never knew.
Yeah, the field goal that was made against Blytheville, it was good, and I can't remember how far away it was, but it just barely got over the crossbars. So it was awesome that he made it, but you've got more of a sense of security behind the foot now. So if you get down into plus territory and you just stopped and don't have any other options, you've definitely got something you can look forward to on the foot of Bradford Doherty.
And I'm going to tell you, I think you've already seen the philosophy change at least a little bit. Week 1 against Wynn, you're in the first half, it's 6-0 Jackets. Coach Davis didn't hesitate to send Bradford out there to boot it through, which he did. So I don't know that he does that last year. I don't know that he does that if he doesn't have total faith in the young man either. So again, props. The coaches realize what they've got. He knows what he's about. And, I think, it's good to have outs. Whatever you're doing, and, again, the field position can't be overstated. If you're kicking it through the end zone and they're starting at their 20 instead of running out to the 35 or 40, that's 20 yards. It's 2 first downs of field position now, okay? And then the punting game. So it's stuff like that won't show up in the stat sheet, but it means something in the grand scheme.
There's one other stat that we looked into that field goal, and by all accounts, there's one more I would like to check, but I feel fairly certain we can say that is the longest field goal in Patriot history. I think there was one more stat that may be a record. That may be the record number of touchbacks for the Patriots in a game. I can't remember exactly how, but it was high. It was a very big number because, one, there's only a handful of times that we've scored that many. It's grown within the past, 7 or 8 years. But even then, we didn't have the kicker that could put it in the end zone the way that he did. The 84-51 game that we at Greene County Tech, the highest scoring we've ever had, we didn't have the kicker, that could boot it all the way through. And in high school, it's actually just a little bit easier to do that because nothing is able to come out of the end zone except for an interception. If it crosses that plane, it's dead. So it's incredible just in week 2 how much things have changed with the offensive philosophy or how much it could change. And honestly, I think with the caliber of win that we had with Jacksonville over how terrible of a loss we felt against Wynn this season, you're telling fans to not hit the panic button. Mm-hmm. Well, I think we've kind of lowered the glass shield over that and turned the key off, so I don't think that our hands are near that anymore. So with that being said, I'm interested to know, Monk has our connections here with Huddle. What other individual performances and totals did we see that were of significance? I know Tom and Colin had huge games. What was our latest from Huddle?
Looks like Peyton Walker finished with 325 passing yards. I want to know how many rushing yards he had, though.
Hard-nosed yards at that.
And whereas we saw Colin and Tom, who was kind of juking back and forth, Peyton with a sore shoulder is just running guys over, getting these yards. So made some really good fourth down conversions, too, on the ground. So really good job running by your quarterback. Tom Young, 140 rushing yards and a pair of scores. So
4 catches for 46 yards too, I think.
Yeah, it felt like so his all-purpose yards were over 200.
Right, yeah. Well, knocking on the
no
door
doubt.
for sure, yeah.
No doubt. Colin Chambers, 214 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. You had Arkansas Next Level Recruiting tweeting about him. So really good stat there for Colin Chambers. Scoring summary, just back and forth. And these numbers that you're seeing on these scores, 57-yard touchdown run, 60-yard touchdown pass, 56-yard pass, 45-yard interception return. These are incredible numbers, and the big playability of Marion is finally showing off.
Yeah, KB Williams with that interception pick six that was had this place absolutely lit, as my students say. It's time for Monk's Maulers. Yes, we've made it an official segment. Monk, the floor is yours. What do we have to look forward with the Chickasaws?
The main guy you're going to be looking at is D'Amico Clark.
Of course.
He is the stud there. They're going to feed the stud there. West Memphis did a really good job keying on him. Limited him to 77 total yards, West Memphis did. So we got to see another player emerge for Blytheville. I'm not sure of his name, but their quarterback threw for 2 touchdowns against West Memphis. Kind of got them back in a game where, frankly, they didn't really belong. From what I saw on film, I got to see them play the Osceola game, and their quarterback looked a little shaky there. The receivers were dropping some passes, but and I want to say that West Memphis's DBs, they're not the best in the world by any means.
Kind of small from what I recall.
Yeah, it's still kind of small. Still definitely needs some improvement there, but I don't think that our DBs are going to have as much trouble with that. KB, Kenta did an incredible job against a really good receiving core with Jackson. They weren't as fast as the guys you're going to see in Blytheville, but I do think that this is going to be a little bit better there. The D line's going to get some push there. The offensive line was kind of shaky. I want Blytheville to throw the ball. I know that they threw 2 touchdowns against West Memphis, but I want to see Blytheville throw the ball, because if not, then we got to deal with Clark.
Yeah.
And Clark, an incredible game last year here in Patriot Stadium. It took a last-second field goal to beat these guys. And defensively, this defensive line for Blytheville, it might be the best we see all year.
The defensive line.
Their defensive line might be the best we see all year. From what I hear, I didn't get to get any names, but Billy Woods, he said that they have a D1 commit on that defensive line, so that's going to be the biggest struggle there. But I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem as far as the passing game goes. They did shut down the running game against Osceola and West Memphis, but the passing game, Osceola is not even a passing team, and they lit up Blytheville as far as the passing game goes. So expect a lot of short routes, a lot of slant routes that end up being for huge gains, and this could be a little different story than last year in Blytheville.
From what we can tell so far, is this Blytheville team up to snuff with where they were last year? Because they were a 5A East contender last year.
They shared the conference with Wynn and Batesville.
I don't think this is going to be as good of a team as it was last year. Still going to be a really competitive game, just because we are going to see an offensive line like we did in Wynn, but I don't think that the people behind the offensive line are as good as what we saw in Wynn. So I'm not sure how many seniors that they lost from last year, but I'm feeling more confident in this one than I am looking back at the Wynn.
Fast take picks. Monk.
I can't wait at the end of the game to hear Coach Jed Davis say, "How about them Patriots?" I do like Marion's big play ability, and I like the Patriots in a 35-14 win.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Chuck.
This is a tough one for me, because I don't think I've called the Blytheville game right. I didn't do it last year either. So, I might be eating some more crow again next week. A lot of pressure on me right now. You got to like the way Marion looked the other night. If that's how they're going to be going forward, I'm going to go Pats. I'm going to go Pats 38, Chicks 20.
All right. And for me, I think that the Patriots show up like they did against Jackson, because it's too sweet of a taste in your mouth to even consider not being in that form. So you got some confidence in places you didn't have it in win. You know who your quarterback is. Your kicking game is on fire. Even though you're playing on grass, not turf, you're one game this year like that. So I think that's going to be okay. The score for me, you know, I like those track meet games. I loved what we did the other night. So I got Patriots winning this one 42-21 over the Blavel Chickasaws. But I will settle for just 12 points difference. All right, but I'll settle for just 12. All right. You can guess why if you're from the other side of town. Speaking of which, isn't that an interesting dynamic now with the way these schedules work out? It's almost as if the West Memphis game is now a 3-week event because you got West Memphis against Blavel, then you got Marion against Blavel, and you want to compare those. Last year it was an interesting comparison with West Memphis losing at home and Marion winning at home.
Well,
and it didn't pan out.
there. West Memphis lost up there, but yeah, they.
So it's an interesting. It just kind of extends the anticipation of the week 4 matchup a little bit.
Everybody's watching the other team's schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, scoreboard watching out here.
Yeah, which is interesting. With I don't know if they got a scouting report on when, but West Memphis actually dropped them last minute to play Little Rock Central.
They did. That's true. Yeah.
So we've lost that game for comparison, and there's a lot more on Blavel. If you want it to be.
Right,
I don't think our coaches are really particularly interested in that. I like playing this game a little bit, playing Patriots advocate, another jab, sneak this, whatever. So I think that it's a lot of fun. As you can guess, Chuck somehow still has a day job, and he has to go do that real quick. So check out today's paper to see what work he put into that, and he has a lot of good things to say about the Patriots following that big Jackson win out here the other night. So, Mom, now we're going to transition talking about volleyball, as it was a fairly, I don't want to say off week at all, but it was certainly just kind of one of those weeks where nothing big happened, nothing bad happened. And I think that that's a good thing for the Lady Patriots right now, starting out with West Memphis.
Yeah, for the Lady Patriots right now, no news really is good news because we're not breaking some news about somebody got injured or the Patriots lost a game they weren't supposed to. Just a very, what I'm glad we can call an uneventful week. You know, you just doing your job and winning. I'm glad we can say that that's an uneventful week for these Lady Patriots.
So last Tuesday night, our Lady Patriots traveled to the campus of the Academies of West Memphis to take on the Lady Blue Devil team that has traditionally not made too much noise in this conference, but certainly not anything to sleep on, and I think that they made a great statement regarding their program on Tuesday night over there.
Oh, the West Memphis team, they definitely look like they've improved a lot since the last time the Lady Patriots saw them. It looks like they've got some senior leadership, which was something they'd been struggling for as long as I can remember, but it looks like they've got some strong leaders finally on that team, and they look like they actually want to be there. That's something else that's changed. They look like they want to go out there and beat the Lady Patriots, which is really good if you want a rivalry with them in this sport. So, again, Lady Patriots look like they struggled a little bit there at first, kind of some unforced errors.
Yeah, the majority of the first set points for the Lady Blue Devils were not to the credit of the Blue Devils whatsoever. It was to the discredit of the Lady Patriots. Kind of frustrating. But we talk about kind of playing to your competition. I think that that's kind of what we saw from the Lady Patriots in that first set, and a little bit in the second set too. It took until the third for the gears to really get going.
Yeah, and because of those unforced errors, it allows West Memphis a chance to get in. Slowly towards the end of the game, like in the third set, we did get to see that this is a talented team finally, but by the time that it had gotten there in the third set, it was already over. But you got them back in the game because they saw in the first two sets that you're going to unintentionally give them extra points, so they decided that they could actually work for them there in the third set. So you gave them some added motivation there, but it was a good job by them to seal it in 3.
Yeah, so the Lady Patriots did allow some extra points in there. I made that prediction of, one set would have double digits out of the entire week. It ended up being 2, as the Lady Patriots, allowing those errors, made it a score that would probably be more suitable to a Greene County Tech or a Nettleton or even a Jonesboro team, unlike a traditional game against West Memphis. So it was a very interesting dynamic in there. the junior high squads, that added some more, not intensity, but some more passion to the cheering section. So I think that was a very good night overall. We still have another game from last week to cover. The Lady Patriots played Blyville, the Lady Chicks, as they choose to be called, and really wasn't much of a game, was it?
No, not too much. The star of the game is definitely Allie Bermucci there.
Absolutely.
Returning from the injury she had in Valley View. Still wasn't going to jump or anything like that, anything that could likely re-aggravate that injury. But she comes in the third set and has all 25 serves for the Lady Patriots. The third time she's done so as a Patriot, so just incredible. She's player of the game.
Right. To do it 3 times in a career is incredible. To do it the third time with a bum ankle, absolutely stellar, and says a lot about her resolve and her ability to bounce back from adversity. So the song we're singing this week, as opposed to last week of showing you slow motion replays of that's long gone. In fact, she even proved after that 3-set sweep of the Lady Chicks that she is back probably at 90%, because yesterday the Lady Patriots traveled to Arlington and Bartlett, Tennessee to take part in the River City Classic, and I got to see all games except for the ones on Friday as we were out here, but just absolutely looking in stellar form, and interestingly enough, for the Patriots' cause, the first 2 games were a bit of a rehearsal, and they were without Gabby Capp and Maggie Orelli. We talked about, what do we do if we have to go through this again with someone out? Well, we kind of practiced it with Gabby being out, and Carly Russell and Lillian Fogelman, the characters that replaced Allie, really replaced Gabby's spot extremely effectively. So this is something that we're seeing as a bit of a trend, where we can call on Carly, Lillian, and Destiny, especially Destiny, to do more than she already does, and not have a problem with it. Talk about those pieces fitting together.
Oh, this B team that we like to call it for Marion, I think that they could contend with half the teams in the state.
Yep.
This is an incredible group that we have behind the varsity team. That, besides the varsity team, I think that they really are an incredible set of ladies. You really don't feel any kind of anxiety whenever one of them goes in. It was interesting at first after Allie went down to see who they were going to get, but now that we've seen that we can definitely rely on players like Carly and Lillian, that I really have no issue if one happens to go down. You hate to see it happen, but I don't feel like you're as worried now.
Right, and once the Lady Patriots defeated several teams from across the Mid-South, they defeated Germantown, DeSoto Central, they defeated St. Benedict at Auburndale, Mumford. Just their pool was stacked, especially that SBA game. And then for pool play, they met up with a familiar foe in Brooklyn. Then they played Tipton Rosemark, who gave them one heck of a game. And then Houston High School, who was billed as like this power. And I guess because they couldn't defeat Bartlett in their semifinal, really, it was almost kind of a letdown how much the Lady Patriots were able to dominate the Lady Mustangs of Houston. So all in all, a very successful tournament, brought it back, and you got to see some different things go on. In that bracket game, Carly Russell was called upon more than she usually is, and just Allie, fighting through some things. We suspect that Allie's going to be dealing with this for the remainder of her career now.
Oh, no doubt.
Such an intense sprain. So ultimately, that there are measures for that, taping up and everything that she has to be a part of now. But overall, fantastic weekend. Champions of the River City Classic, a stellar tournament, and they are definitely going to respond well moving forward to adversity because, hey, they've been through the fire now. So, any final thoughts for you?
I'm just really excited. Jonesboro rolling in tomorrow. It's going to be really fun. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, Jonesboro's going to be fun. Nettleton is going to be a stellar team to play against. So we hope to get to bring that to you live on the Patcast Facebook page. And Friday night, traveling to Blythe. So that second showdown, third showdown really with the Chicks of what we call even the boys the Chickasaws as they are known of Blythe.
The boy Chicks.
For the Patriots' only show of the year on grass. So for Chuck Livingston, I'm Landon West.
I'm Tyler Bennett.
And so we'll look for you next week on another episode of the Patcast.
Go Pats.